With regards to the United States, we have a card-carrying member, so to speak. I don't know if he actually has a card or not, but that's not important. A card-carrying member of the Muslim Brotherhood is now the mayor of New York City. It's important that people understand what that means. There are two kinds of radical Islamo-Nazi, not organizations per se. There are many organizations, but essentially two approaches, two schools of thought. One is the Al-Qaeda, Daesh, ISIS type of strain of this anti-human ideology, which believes that the most important thing in life and the only way to achieve the goals of Islamo-Nazism is to wage war in a straightforward, traditional, physical sense of the term. So that is what ISIS tried to do, right? It was known in Arabic or in Hebrew by the acronym Daesh, which is an outgrowth of Al-Qaeda, which believes that by force of arms we have to conquer, take over, cut off as many heads as possible, crucify as many as possible, so that the others will see and will fear. And that is what you do. And if it hasn't worked thus far, it will work next time, because eventually we have the faith, and we have the determination, and we are consistent, and we do not tire, and we are willing to suffer. And it doesn't matter if it takes centuries. We shall impose Islam by Islamo-Nazism on the entire world by the sword. I might also point out that if you check the flags of the world, just do any search anywhere you like for the different flags of countries around the world, you will find that there are a number of countries, quite a number in fact, on whose flags a sword is depicted. And interestingly enough, all those countries are Islamic. Obviously a pure coincidence, but it's just something I noted. And that may explain something about Islamo-Nazism in general, and about this approach to how to achieve the goals of that ideology. There is another school of thought, which is proving in many ways more dangerous and more successful, and that is the Muslim Brotherhood approach. It's not that the Muslim Brotherhood opposes lobbing off heads and massacring non-Muslims as a matter of course, etc., etc. Not at all. But recognizing the realities and the facts on the ground, the Muslim Brotherhood, which is an organization that was established a little over 100 years ago by a very smart Egyptian Islamo-Nazi by the name of Hassan al-Banna. He understood that you have to begin as Hamas began. Hamas is just one of the armed wings of the Muslim Brotherhood. In other words, Hamas began by distributing sacks of flour to poor Islamo-Nazis, in this case in Gaza, and providing some medical services, and providing and creating afternoon activities for children, for teenagers, as if they were some kind of social welfare organization. But of course, this was all directed towards one purpose, which was to indoctrinate entire generations of these people to hate all non-believers, and eventually to conquer and rule over all the non-believers. First and foremost, Jews, as is well known in Islamo-Nazism, the greatest enemies of their pathetic copycat, very very poor copy of the Torah. They consider Judaism to be the greatest enemy, and they know exactly why, because anything of value in what they are comes from the Torah, and the rest comes from other sources, from their more traditional, historical, tribal, desert civilization, if you can call it that. So the Muslim Brotherhood approach is stealthy and sly, and involves what we might call soft power as opposed to hard power in the initial stages. And that means that you bribe and buy off politicians and judges and media networks, or you create your own media network. Does that sound familiar? Qatar, for example, created Al Jazeera for that very purpose and reason, and they have bought and bribed their way into academia around the world, particularly in the United States. And it goes without saying that Zaharan Mamdani did not raise all the money for his campaign all by himself by selling raffle tickets. That's not how he did it. He received immense amounts of cash from Qatar and perhaps some others, perhaps Saudi Arabia and Turkey, who can be absolutely sure of the precise, the various bank accounts and straw companies and what have you. But that's what's going on here. In other words, just as in the UK today, you have at least 8 cities that have Islamo-Nazi mayors, and in general, the one of the main strategies is conquering, overtaking a country under the very noses of the native population by mass immigration, without any intention, of course, of integrating or being law-abiding, nothing of the sort. The intention all along was to take over, to conquer, conquered by the womb, conquered by all manner of infiltration and occupation of other people's countries and societies, insinuating yourself into their midst, and doing it in such a way that it is almost impossible to reverse the process. This is what we see, all of us, has been going on in Europe. It's extremely dubious whether the process there is reversible. I doubt it. And this process is also underway in the United States. It's also underway, by the way, in Canada, in Australia. So we all know about Dearborn, Michigan. Well, that's one thing, but for such a representative of such an ideology to become the mayor of New York City, that is quite a feat. Although, really, as I understand it, New York City today is, if you walk around downtown Manhattan, so I hear. I haven't done that for a long time, nor do I really intend to. I understand that you mainly see, or you feel that you're in the third world. You don't. There's no indication that you're in the United States or in New York City. So if that's what you allow to happen to your city, and you allow prime commercial real estate in New York City to be boarded up and not functional as shop fronts, as places of business, because of the crime rate and the impossibility of conducting any kind of civilized trade or way of life with a particular population that you allowed into your midst. If you do that, and the same is true in San Francisco and other places, then you will create a cesspool, and that is exactly apparently what New York City has become.
The last time I was there, I was shocked by the amount of halal food stands on every block.
Right. Okay. There you have it. And mosques are sprouting up all over the United States like mushrooms after the rain. And again, it's not a question of freedom of religion. It's the Muslim Brotherhood understanding, in its particularly sly but well-informed understanding of so-called Western democracies, that you can and must turn that very democratic system, or those values, or those notions on which these societies were founded and are based, turn all that against them. It's like judo. You take the power of your opponent and use that energy against him. And that's essentially what the Muslim Brotherhood has understood for a long time. Eventually, the ISIS stage of their program will also come to the fore. It will not remain as it were, restrained and civilized form of Islam and Nazism. The true beast will rear its head eventually, but by that time it will be too late. So that's what has happened in New York. The Muslim Brotherhood now rules New York City, and again, who knows whether this it's reasonable to assume that this is the beginning of a process that will evolve and play itself out over many years in the United States as well, and maybe the United States will go the same way as Europe. It's impossible to know for sure, unless many unexpected and somewhat incredible turns of event come to pass. We shall see. Hard to say whether this, in fact, will happen or could happen. Anyway, time will tell. In the meantime, I would definitely recommend, and not only for this reason, not only because of this development, but because this has always been the message of the Torah for every Jew. It is time to come home to Eretz Yisrael, which before too long will prove to be, despite what many may think, the safest place for Jews.